open our select board meeting of October 26th with a roll call.
Coyne present.
Smith present.
Cranston present. And now would one of the Eagle Scouts like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Come on up.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't you love surprises?
We didn't get his name.
No, we can get that one. Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of things on the agenda, but the first thing we need to address is the 6:35 public hearing for earth removal, after we approve our minutes. Okay, just a heads up for everybody, stay awake, or try. Okay, so have you gentlemen read the minutes?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes of the Town of Sterling Select Board minutes for October 12th, 2022, as written.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Coyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Cranston, aye. Thank you, Kama. As always, nice job. So, all right, we have to open the public hearing. We're about 3 minutes early.
Would you like to do 4 and 5, or 4 and or 5?
Well, you know what? Why don't we skip over to 4? Because Ryan is actually here with his little ones. Sean?
Podium or okay, there's a little more space up here.
The podium's right behind the scouts.
Yeah. So with my promotion, we had an immediate open sergeant's position. Traditionally, there's a study period before a written exam, an interview process, and then a final decision. So I changed it a little bit this time. We did the written exam. We gave them 2 months to study. So Ryan and a couple other candidates at that period of time. We did the written test, and we did an assessment center, which is a little more aggressive interview process. It was all day. They had 4 scenarios that they had to interact with the interviewers. They had a written assignment, and they had a presentation assignment. Further breakdown, since we had such really good candidates, rather than just interview with 3 people for 15 or 20 minutes, it gave a better look into their capabilities. And then the third portion of that was the chief's portion. So Ryan came out #1 on that, and he did a great job. And I'll tell you, it was not an easy process. It was hard on him, it was hard on his family, as well as all the other candidates. I mean, around the station, the stress was high because everybody was studying. But the results of the test speak for themselves. But Ryan in the last couple of years has really come into his own since he's been with us since 2008. Since 2017, he was assigned to assist Detective Johnson as a forensics officer, doing all the crime scene work, fingerprints, pry marks, things like that. Chief Chamberlain sent him to Rhode Island to an extensive school to learn how to do all that. Subsequently, in November of 2020, he took over the property room and property and evidence room, and went through all of our whole evidence, had the destruction, 25 years worth of work. That in and of itself was just finished up recently. It took that long to go back through all our old stuff. And as everybody knows, when Detective Johnson was out, Ryan stepped up as the acting detective. Very little guidance because DJ kind of ran the show, did his own thing, and Ryan really didn't have somebody to bounce stuff off. Did an excellent job by all accounts. And then when DJ's retirement came through, Ryan stepped up, and he's been the full-time detective since DJ left. So all that is encompassed in that, I'd like to recommend Ryan as the next sergeant for the town.
Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself? And,
yes, certainly. My name is Ryan Ferguson, as the chief said. I've been here for 14 years, going on 15 years. Detective for about 2 years now. Prior to that, I was a corrections officer at the Worcester County Sheriff's Office. Born and raised in Holden. My wife Colleen, my daughter Keely, my son John. Graduated St. Peter Marian High School, Western New England College for undergraduate, and Anna Maria for graduate school. Appreciate the words from Chief, but I'm honored to be here and excited for this opportunity.
questions, John?
Yeah, Ryan, great resume, congratulations on the testing and all the experience. I guess the only question I have is, when I read it, and I read the responsibilities, I was thinking, for instance, crime scene investigator, tow truck liaison officer, taser electronics weapons instructor, equipment officer, cell room officer, sex offender registry officer, and assault investigation officer, not to mention, the additional training. Who's going to take over some of these things if you get moved up to sergeant?
I'll leave that one up to the chief.
That's a decision we're working on. We have a couple of candidates that are interested in the position. Ryan, certainly with his experience, is not going away anywhere soon. But yeah, there will be somebody coming up to fill in a lot of those spots.
Very impressive.
Thank you very much.
David?
I just want to thank you for your service, and there's no doubt in my mind that if Sean is moving you forward, that he's done due diligence and research, and you more than deserve in a position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got nothing to say to you. No, Ryan and I have had interactions over the last few years, and it's nothing illegal. Got stopped once on my way for ice cream, but that was all right, they were closing. Anyway, I thank you, Ryan, for stepping up and stuff. I'm excited for you because I know it's something that you've looked for a couple of years now, so this is great. And yes, Sean, you have to get somebody to fill in some of those positions. But with all that being said, I would entertain a motion that we appoint Ryan Ferguson as the new sergeant to fill the vacant position.
So moved in those words.
Seconded.
Without any further discussion, all those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Cranston, aye. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, board.
We'll see you in a couple of
Just one more thing before you guys leave. Friday is National First Responders Day, so make sure the chief takes care of you guys.
There'll be donuts, right, Sean?
I don't know, everybody on the health kick. I don't know if those will go.
All right, we'll send over some apples. Okay, with all that being said, it is time to entertain a motion to close our regular meeting so that we can open up our public hearing for earth removal on 69 Leominster Road. I'd entertain a motion to do that.
Yeah, so moved.
Seconded.
Okay. All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Cranston, aye. Okay, and this has everything to do with an earth removal application for 69 Leominster Road from Amarillo Construction. You want to fill us in on some of this? Oh, your name also.
My name's Raymond Davis. I'm a
Okay.
project manager at Amarillo. I replaced the previous gentleman who handled this permit for the last 10 years, so it's been a mess not dealing with you guys, but me catching up with the permitting process, because he didn't leave me many breadcrumbs stuff on it. But I was working with the engineer that we originally worked with to put this permit together. Our owner had his contact information, and I've been working with Graves, the review engineer, going back and forth with what he's looking for to make this permit possible. He said what he was looking for from us, or what he told our engineer. He wanted us to get borings, find groundwater locations, and in addition, we install the well for future permitting if you're looking for future groundwater relations. And yeah, it's whatever information he looked for or was requesting from me, I gave to him. And some issues with our plans, the plans that have been submitted by my predecessor for a few years, the scale was messed up and things like that, so I adjusted all that and straightened it out. And we just want to keep the property open and working.
I just pointed to see, should this date be like October 26th instead of June 2nd?
I didn't change the actual permit from what I submitted before.
So nothing's changed?
Nothing's changed, no, just a plan sheet, and I included Graves' review information.
David?
Questions on this?
Okay, well, Obviously, the review done by Graves that we have was done way back in August.
It's the same review sheet, I just attached it. I didn't know
Right.
what was brought here.
So personally, what I would want to have done is Graves do a new review and have it in writing before we put out any permission or yeses to the applications. I can see what you've submitted has tried to follow through with Graves, but we're not engineers.
I understand. I emailed him, I think 3 weeks ago with updated plans, and Patty emailed me this morning and said he's on vacation. I don't know if I followed up with her, but she was like, he's on vacation, he won't get back to you, but you have to be at the meeting tonight.
All right, well, we'll probably, I mean, this hearing has been postponed at least 3 or 4 times. You know, I thought you guys moved out of town or something, but we can reschedule for, did Ms. Page say when the engineer would be back?
She said he'd be back on the 1st.
On the 1st, so we could literally put this on our agenda for, is it the 9th?
7th and 9th.
It is the 9th that our next meeting is, I believe. Will that give them enough time to put together a new review?
Okay,
just
so
don't-
what's
you know-
after the 9th?
You have to decide.
What?
23rd if we meet, if not, then it'll be in December,
Is it 23rd? Oh, that's Thanksgiving?
night before, yeah.
Yeah. Bring the bugs. Anyway, so it'd probably have to be moved to the first week in December, the next hearing. Okay.
So I was just waiting to hear back from him because
Okay.
I didn't want to waste these people's time
Okay,
without information.
appreciate that. And then it gives us a chance to digest what we got just today. So, and like I said, as soon as Graves comes back with a review that's updated, August is a long time away. And as John had pointed out, the dates on the application, I don't know if you would have to change those legally or not. So, but we'll get back to you on that.
I can update him.
Okay, all right. Anything else, John?
No, that sums it up. Thanks for coming in.
David?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. DeFuria.
Do you allow comments from the public?
Yes, absolutely, go ahead.
Richard DeFuria, Patriots Way. I have more of a question.
Okay,
I have the misfortune to live across the street from the Onyx gravel pit,
yeah,
where we're constantly dealing with dust issues, dust in the air, dust on the roads, debris on the roads. Are any of those problems anticipated on Leominster Road from this operation? And do you have remediation plans for how to deal with them?
To be 100% honest, we don't use the pit that much. It's for
Okay.
when we need emergency gravel for like Mass DOT projects, because sometimes it'll require bank run gravel,
Okay.
natural gravel versus processed. But we're not planning on blasting. I think last year we maybe took out maybe 500 yards of material.
Okay.
We're not there a lot. We have that property just in case we need that kind of gravel.
Thank you.
anybody else have any questions? Yes?
Before you move on, could you please vote to reschedule it so
We're
that,
gonna get there.
okay, just
Asking if anybody else has any questions. Okay. All right, so I would make a motion that we reschedule the hearing for the earth removal permit on 69 Leominster Road for Amarillo to December 7th.
Second. You made it.
Yeah,
Second.
all those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Grants and I. All right, December 7th, you'll get a notice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I would entertain a motion to adjourn this hearing for earth removal on 69 Leominster Road.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. And then I'll entertain a motion to reopen our regular meeting of the Select Board of October 26th.
So moved.
Seconded.
Krantz and, okay. All right, and so next thing on our agenda would be, the senior center update, and I did see Veronica walk in the room somewhere.
Yeah.
Behind the Boy Scouts. Okay. So a lot of you don't have this information, but Veronica has provided us with a lot of, some of it you would find in your senior center newsletter, a lot of it, but a lot of information as to what they've been working on, what they're doing. And tonight, we also wanted to take the opportunity, because they do have a new outreach worker, and we wanted the general public to see that face and meet that person, whether she likes it or not.
Is this good? Do you want me to be here?
That's fine.
Oh, okay, good. I wasn't sure I was going in order. Thank you. So, Linda, do you want to come up? So, first of all, thank you to the Select Board for inviting us here. And also, I just want to acknowledge a number of the people from Senior Center, COA Board, and volunteers and employees. It's great that so many people care and are interested enough to be here at the meeting, so I really appreciate it. So I'll start with outreach. At the Senior Center, our outreach program is the link to community services and programs, and outreach works with older adults, family members, caregivers, and younger members of our community with disabilities to assess needs, problem solve, provide information, and coordinate referrals. On a daily basis, outreach helps seniors with SNAP benefits, fuel assistance, health insurance, files of life, Yahoo, home care services, housing, and such. But there's so much more to the position. When we get a call from the daughter whose 92-year-old dad is being discharged from the hospital to home alone on a Friday afternoon, it's outreach that takes that call. When a van driver notices that one of our regular passengers today was unsteady and needed assistance, that information goes to outreach for referral. When a spouse in our community is struggling to provide care and keep their loved one with dementia home in the community, it is outreach that sits with that couple and provides support. So we are very pleased that within our budget we can provide for outreach services 5 days a week. We currently have one outreach worker on staff and we're looking to hire a second. We're very fortunate to have Linda Tignola. She's a licensed social worker with extensive case management and elder care experience. And she joined our team in June, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Nice to be here. Well, you know, I don't really love public speaking, but it is nice to be here with all of you.
So as a lot of support there, Linda.
So as Veronica said, I have about 25 years experience actually in human services and social services, with at least 15 years in a case management role. I initially started working with adults with serious mental illness and co-occurring substance abuse disorders. And for the past about 10 years or so, I've worked solely with seniors and people with disabilities. Most recently, I worked for the local ASAP that covers this area, which is the Aging Service Access Point. Formerly known as Montechusett Home Care, they now go by Aging Services of North Central Mass. So they cover the local North Central community, and they are the access point for social services for seniors and those with disabilities. So I have a broad knowledge of services to benefit seniors. I have a lot of connections with agencies in the local area, which comes in handy when you need to call in a favor real quick. And I think our focus here at the Senior Center, again, I'm just kind of getting my bearings. It's about 4 months in, and although I have a lot of experience in this field, you know, I have not worked at a senior center before. So this is, there's a lot of new things to learn. I'm learning about Sterling, which is a very tight-knit community. And what I've seen in the short time I've been here is that people really care about each other here, which is wonderful. So one of the goals that I have is to get to meet every senior that's here in Sterling. And how we're approaching that initially is doing outreach visits, starting with our folks that are over 80, who typically tend to be the most vulnerable population, whether that's because of chronic health conditions, cognitive impairment, so on. Certainly, I've done home visits with folks that are under 80, and will continue to do so, and I'm happy to do a home visit with anybody that would like one. But I've kind of started with the over 80 population just to kind of get out there, meet them, let them see me, see my face, and tell them what we can offer at the senior center, because a lot of times people aren't aware of the services that are available to seniors in the community. And for me personally, my passion really is supporting the underserved population, so people that are lower income, are mass health folks, people that may have co-occurring mental health issues, people that feel they don't fit in at the senior center. I want them to feel they fit in there. So that's really going to be something that I look to focus on during my time with you here in Sterling. The other thing that's really important to me is supporting caregivers, because my goal as a social worker is to promote self-determination. And for many seniors, their goal is to age at home. They want to age in place. And in order to do that, most times people are going to need some services to come into the home and help them at some point. So in order for people to do that and be safe in the home, they're going to have to accept some help. And a lot of times there are family caregivers that are doing this 24 hours a day. Those are the unsung heroes, and those are the people that need our support. And I think you can't really understand the magnitude of that job unless you have been there yourself. So that's really a focus for me, is to try to help and support people that are in this caregiving role and make sure that they're taking care of themselves as well as their loved ones. So I guess that's it. I don't want to take up too much time, but nice to meet you all. And please stop in and meet me at the Senior Center. I'm there Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Thank you, Linda. Don't run away yet.
Okay.
My counterparts often have questions, so.
Yeah, sure.
Anything, John?
Not a lot. I mean, very good background. I think it sounds like it should be a very smooth transition into the duties of the outreach. I don't know if you, being there for not that long, but if you anticipate any, if you have recognized any major challenges to date, and maybe it is the giving support to the caregivers, I don't know. But my one question, besides your overall comment on that, is where was your primary experience before? Was it here in the North County, or was it?
Working with seniors, I worked for the ASAP, the local ASAP, which is Aging Service Access Point.
Right.
So that was Montechusett Home Care. That was their former name. They're now known as Aging Services of North Central Mass, based out of Leominster.
Okay.
Yeah, and I live in Leominster also.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
David?
I just want to thank you for your, what you're doing at the Senior Center. I met you last month when I was down there serving.
Yep.
I met the entire staff, and they do a really nice job, and I appreciate that. I know the seniors that you care for appreciate it, so thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Linda, and thank you for coming in,
Okay.
because I do think it's important for people, to see the new face that's
Well,
out there.
I'm happy to come out and meet them at home and have them come into the center. That's kind of our goal, is to get people to come in.
Absolutely, please do that.
But, yeah, if
Get 'em
you
in
don't
there.
want to come in, you can call me. I'm always available, and I'm happy to do home visits, like I said.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming in.
I thought you didn't like public speaking.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that exact same thing. Speak very well off the cuff there, Linda. Good. Very well.
Been practicing for days
I know.
in front of the mirror.
I practiced in the car a little today. That was about it.
No, great
You
job.
can see why I was so very impressed with her in her interview and hiring. Thank you, Linda, for being part of our team. To the Senior Center update, that was the outreach portion. So the mission of the Senior Center is to maintain the health and well-being of our seniors and to assist them with preserving their independence. And we achieve that mission by providing a variety of programs and services and supports at the Senior Center. As Maureen said, we did provide a copy of a November newsletter in your packet. The monthly newsletter is mailed to all of our seniors over the age of 60. Many are already familiar with the type of programming that we provide through the newsletter, so I thought it would be helpful this evening for me to touch on some things that we do at the Senior Center that are not in the newsletter and that people and the Select Board may not be aware. So last spring into summer, under the guidance of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, all of the Senior Center employees and volunteers participated in an LGBT training. LGBT older adults often have lived through discrimination, social stigma, the effects of prejudice, all which can create challenges when they're seeking elder services. So we want to assure all older adults that they are welcome at the Senior Center, regardless of sexual orientation and gender expression. The Senior Center and the Recreation Department co-chair the Age and Dementia Friendly Sterling Initiative. In the past year, we've had Sterling recognized as an age and dementia friendly community. We've worked with the police department to establish the Take Me Home program for those with autism, dementia, or other cognitive concerns. And we've worked with the Sterling Fair and more. This group would love to present a more detailed update to the Select Board in the next few months. Younger people often ask, how old do I have to be to join the Senior Center? Older folks tend to say, I'm not old enough to go there. But the truth is, of course, we don't card. And I thought it would be fun to share 3 popular programs that we provide for people of all ages. Any age can participate. We have a meditation program at 6 o'clock on Monday nights, run by Carol McGuigan. We do free Pepperidge Farm bread. Anyone can come into the Senior Center on Thursdays at 8 o'clock while supplies last to pick up a couple of loaves of bread. And we also, I know it started as a senior event, pickleball, but it has expanded to a recreational activity for all ages. So we also offer the pickleball Monday and Wednesday. We're still outside, and we'll be moving inside to the First Church when it gets colder, but it's still been very nice. For the past year, the Senior Center has also been one of 4 sites involved with a pilot project with MART, that's the Montechusett Regional Transportation. The goal of the pilot was to use technology to enhance our services, simplify reporting, perhaps regionalize some service transport, but ultimately the end goal is to provide more rides to more people. And we are committed to this pilot, as we are committed to helping non-driving elders stay active in the community. This year through September, our vans have provided 3,372 rides. Currently, this is a fun fact, the Senior Center no longer puts food waste into our dumpsters. So we use a composting bin for our kitchen scraps, and we feed the Sterling pigs with the food waste from the dining room. So this is really a major accomplishment when you consider that we have served over 4,400 lunches this year. So because the Senior Center lacks curb appeal and the patio is not being used, the Senior Center conducted a survey. Results indicated that our participants wanted outside areas of visual interest and smaller group seating. Utilizing this information, we engaged McCarty Engineering to create a 5-year phased landscape plan. The plan calls for Phase 1 work on the area from the building to Muddy Pond. Phase 2 addresses shading on the patio and smaller group seating. The progression is important as Phase 1 completes the building as it was planned, and it can be easily accomplished through a portion of the remaining building funds. Then we can progress to shading and seating, projects that lend themselves very well to additional funding through the gift account, donations, possibly formula grant money, thus potentially removing any request from the Senior Center to the taxpayers. And you can see our landscape plan when you join us for Welcome Week. So on Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12, on November 14th to the 17th, that's the week before Thanksgiving, we are hosting a Welcome Week. If you haven't been to the Senior Center in a while, or maybe you've never been to the Senior Center and you're thinking in the back of your mind, I gotta check them out, this is your excuse to come in. We'll have extra volunteers on staff to show you around, answer any questions, and of course, we will have cider and donuts. course, it's a senior center. Medicare is currently open enrollment October 15th through December 7th. This is the time for Medicare beneficiaries. You need to check your plan, make sure it's going to suit you for next year. We do have a limited number of Shine appointments available, but what I find often is that people, they just have a question. They saw something on the plan, they read something in their annual notice of change, don't quite know what it means. If you have a question, please call the senior center, ask for me. I am Shine trained. We also have another Shine counselor who comes into the center 3 times during November. But often we can answer these questions right over the phone. We also have resources like a cheat sheet on how to look at your drug plan or your Medicare Advantage plan to make sure you're covered. Holiday schedule at the senior center. As always, we will be open the Friday after Thanksgiving. Please sign up for lunch because we do operate in somewhat of a skeleton staff. But I did look back, and last year we had 53 people at the senior center the Friday after Thanksgiving. Our normal attendance, just as a heads up, is somewhere between 80 to 100 people come into the senior center every day. We also will be open the Friday before the Christmas holiday, and we will be taking off and be off December 26th, the Monday legal holiday for Christmas. Okay?
Taking Christmas off?
We are taking Christmas off. Okay, so typically after the updates,
Can I ask you how much longer? I mean, this is all great
3 minutes.
information, and I appreciate it.
I
Okay,
know,
3
I know,
minutes.
last one, last point. You ready?
Go.
Okay.
Are you done yet?
No. Okay, so typically after the updates, the select board asks, what can I do for the senior center? Is there anything you need from me? And the answer is yes. So last November, don't look shocked, Maureen.
If it's monetary, keep going. Skip that part.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. I like that one better. Last November, 1 year ago, I went before the select board, and to remind you, I stated during the budget process for fiscal year 2022, I had asked the town administrator to help me with the low wages at the senior center. The plan was to provide a supplemental budget to bring the van drivers out of bumping into low wages, into minimum wage, which was done. The second plan was to adjust the director's salary the following year, which I brought to the board's attention, and that was done. Thank you very much. And finally, and most importantly, we were to support the wage and compensation study because final recommendations of the wages of the staff would be an outcome of this study. So I asked the staff at the senior center, be patient, do the process, update our job descriptions, and work with HRS, and here we are. 4 of the positions at the senior center, affecting all but 3 of the employees, experienced a movement up 1 grade or 2 grades. Bless you. So van drivers moved from grade 1 to grade 2. Van drivers with dispatch responsibilities moved from grade 1 to grade 3. Outreach positions and mail site managers moved from grade 2 to grade 3. When you move up a grade due to a promotion, you expect to be kind of at the bottom of the rung and work through the steps. When you move up a grade because your job is now categorized correctly, that is different. And to correct the grade and not adjust the step within the grade basically is penalizing the employee and perpetuating low wages at the senior center. And let me just give you examples to put it into focus. So a van driver with 7 years experience at the senior center, 7 years van driving experience, makes $17.28 an hour. They were grade 1, step 5. Now the grade has been adjusted, so now they are grade 2, step 2. So I have a 7-year employee being paid at a 2-year employee level. Okay? Outreach position. Outreach worker offered absolutely mid-grade because that's what the personnel guidelines state that I can do. 30 days later, the position, okay, she's in mid-level grade 2, okay, 30 days later, the position is now graded properly at grade 3. She moves from grade 2, step 6, to grade 3, step 2. If the outreach position had waited 30 days to start the job, the outreach position would have had $2.11 more per hour. Okay? We need to make these adjustments to the staff wages at the senior center, and for $1,653.76, we can make these changes. I have the information for you guys here.
Nice and nice. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, this is something to be taken up with Mr. Caldwell.
We'll talk about that, yeah. Anything else, Veronica?
I think that's it. I'm asking the select board to please allow for the adjustment of the wages so that the staff can fully participate in the wage and compensation study, in the wage and compensation structure that's available to all of the employees. And that's it.
All right.
Are there any other
Any
questions?
questions for Veronica?
Great job. 80 to 100 people a day is terrific. I remember the old days. Well, you do too.
And did you remember what you said about building a senior center?
No, I don't want to go down that
Okay, we
road.
won't go down that road. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, and then, Sean, sorry.
That's all right.
You wanted to hear all that anyway.
I did.
Okay,
It was interesting nonetheless.
it is interesting.
Retired Detective Johnson has been doing some been doing some dispatch shifts for us. He would like to come back and do a little traffic work. And as somebody befitting his experience and time on the job here in Sterling, we'd like to make him a special officer, which under the police officer standard post allows him to carry a gun, operate a cruiser, and things like that, instead of the traffic constable, which doesn't allow for those things. So he's really coming back just to do details, but we'd like to put him in a position befitting his experience and his time in service here in Sterling.
Okay. John?
No problem, it sounds, Sean's thought that through, so,
David?
I think it's a great plan.
yeah.
Yeah, and as long as DJ's willing to do it.
I think his wife wants him out of the hospital too. I hope she's watching this too. If not, I'm gonna send it to her.
Doesn't take long.
That's really nice. Okay, I would entertain a motion to appoint Dave Johnson as a special police officer per the police chief's recommendation.
So move.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Anybody have anything to say about that?
I have a question.
Okay,
What would his salary or pay be for that new position?
I don't know off the top of
He
my
will
head.
not be working any patrol position, so we'll only be paid by contract work for Verizon, SMLD, things like
I
that.
see.
So there won't be any actual work
Nothing
for the
from,
town.
okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay, anybody else have a question? Okay, all those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have a discussion regarding earth removal on Choxet Road. Doesn't seem to be working out too well. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Mandy DeFreeze, I'm the quarry operations manager for Onyx Court. I run the pit over on Foxit Road. I understand you have some questions for me.
Well, you know we've gotten some complaints.
Yes, there was an incident earlier this month where the road got particularly muddy, and there was some questions as to why and what we were going to do about to remediate it. That particular day was sort of unusual for us. We had really high truck volume. It rained the night before. Sun came out at 11, dried what was in the road. It got dusty. We had swept that morning, again mid-morning, and there was that little window of our end of day sweeping that the stuff that was in the road dried, and it was quite dusty. Definitely not here to deny that. So it was swept that night. It was swept again the next morning. I had a crew go out and sweep up the entire rotary at Choxet, all of the islands, the crosswalks, things that really didn't have anything to do with us. We were picking up car parts, whatever we could, just more as an apology for the incident, as well as the rotary down by 190. Since then, we have extended the existing tracking pads in the pit. They now go from our scale, off the scale, and all the way out to our driveway, which is asphalt grindings. It's not paved yet, but compacted asphalt grindings is a pretty hard surface, equivalent to asphalt itself. My survey team is working on a plan. We are going to pave from the entrance all the way to the scale house. We have leased another water truck that has different types of sprayers. So all day long, the tracking pads within the pit, our driveway, and there has been times where we've actually sprayed the road to then sweep ourselves to keep it clean. And we've acquired 2 new sweepers to also maintain as needed throughout the day. As you know, we were relying on a subcontracted sweeper. He, of course, would come when we called, but there was always that time frame of wherever he was. You know, if we needed immediate attention, we now have 2 Onyx-owned sweepers to address issues as they arise.
Bill, you got anything for that?
You've heard most of the...
Yeah, I've received several of the complaints. I know building department has as well. That day was particularly bad, but that week was not particularly good. I come and go that way, so I drive through it. And I've heard it from several residents. DPW's mentioned it. I haven't heard from SDOT, but at least it's good to see that something's happening. I know that the option to pave and or extend the tracking pad was in the engineering study when we did the approval of the permit, so I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but at least there are measures to remediate some of it.
John?
Well, I mean, it sounds like it just, as the requirements spell out, more regular maintenance probably, I mean, it has to be provided, I guess, to, prevent that.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we've probably been going out every hour on the hour, checking the roads, doing laps around both rotaries, past the Dunkin' Donuts, past the police station to Barber's. We're doing the best we can to make sure we can clean up anything that happens as it arises.
I haven't heard any problems with dust, so I guess that snowmaking machine must have worked during the summer and during the driest part of the season. But so that's a positive. But again, I know Bill's fielded some questions. I've heard a couple of things. But yeah, I guess if the maintenance is done on a regular basis, I would think that this problem would be reconciled and resolved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would hope, since this particular incident on the 6th, everyone has seen an improvement.
Yeah.
The guys have been working pretty hard.
Well said.
David?
No, I just, I get the business in the industry. I understand it's volatile and can be hostile. And I honestly think your company has done a pretty decent job of maintaining the roads around there. I go there quite often. But it's the nature of the business.
Absolutely.
And, I appreciate the fact that you're doing, to the best of your ability, what you can to keep the neighborhood clean.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any questions?
From the audience?
What a surprise.
Yeah. Rich Tucuria, I live on Patriots Way, which is right across from you guys. So I'm a motorcycle driver and a cyclist. And I go out at least twice a day on my motorcycle, and sometimes, if I'm lucky, a few times a week on my bicycle. And it's a constant problem. I've been complaining since June. Occasionally it looks good, and then it gets bad. It's very cyclical. It's very dangerous if you're on 2 wheels and you have all that dust on the road from, I would say, 100 yards in either direction. And recently, when you're talking about the bad day, it wasn't a bad day, it was a bad over a week. I would say 10 days. The dust was around the rotary, up and down Route 12. So when you're on 2 wheels, it is really hard to get around that dust. And then if you add in the stones that get dropped from the trucks, so I'm on 2 wheels going around the rotary, and it's like a maze of stones on the rotary. What happens if I hit a stone, or a bicyclist hits a stone on the rotary? They're going down. So I don't think the problem's been addressed properly. I think that there's more work to do. I can appreciate that you're trying to address it, that's good. But back in June, when I first called Onyx Corporate, I said, well, why can't you wipe down the entrance like they do down in Perkins? And their answer to me was, there's no water on the site. So I thought to myself, construction sites rent water trucks all the time, and after that, you guys did rent a water truck, right? But that was my first interaction with Onyx. I was like, I thought they were gonna say, well, we can do this, we can do that, we'll get on it. So I really encourage you to take a better look. I'm out there, I work from home, I go out twice a day on the bike. You gotta see it, and you gotta see it at all times of the day. You can't see it after they've swept. It's a constant problem. There's 45 families across the street. We're all dealing with this, and I'm not even talking about the airborne dust particles, because those are really bad for people with asthma, senior citizens, children. There's a lot of issues, and I think they should be addressed better than they're being addressed. So I encourage you to do whatever you can to hold their feet to the fire, to get to the root of this. I've been complaining to the Board of Health because I understood that the Board of Health deals with dust issues. Should I be complaining to someone else when there's issues? Or is the Board of Health the appropriate vehicle for me?
We're gonna let the Board of Health address that,
All right.
Mr. DeFuria.
I really encourage you to better address this issue. I see things going on, and I appreciate there's attempts being made, but I don't think the results are there. And you can't go by once in a while and see that the results are not there. You have to go by consistently, as I do. And if anybody ever has any questions about what it looks like, call me up. I'm out there every single day. Thank you. And it's been since June that this has been an ongoing problem, not just of late.
Mr. Hoffman, yes?
Yeah, okay. For those who don't know me, I'm Alan Hoffman, I'm Chair of the Board of Health. This, at least to my knowledge, has come up relatively recently. But I do agree with Mr. DeFuria, this is a very serious issue. And, intermittent, I don't think we've investigated it thoroughly, but we do have some jurisdiction for this kind of nuisance. And you should be aware of that. I think, we'll take a look at this, but I think it more properly belongs with the Earth Removal Board and the Board of Selectmen. I would say we're kind of a last resort type agency, but I do think it's a serious problem. Thank you.
I think what we would look to your board for, Alan, is input. As far as, you're saying it's a serious issue. Give us some writing, just send it over.
Say that a little louder, sir.
I'm sorry. What the board would be looking for is input from the Board of Health as far as this is concerned, in writing, so we have it in the record.
Okay, sure.
That this is an issue for health reasons. And I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on what else they feel Onyx could do at this point. As far as, I also take that road all the time. I've been there when I don't take it as much as Mr. DeFuria, obviously, but, I've been there when the dust is out there. I can't blame the stones on Onyx, all on Onyx. There's too many trucks that go through there every which way, north, south. So I can't blame the stones on you guys. And the dust, it sounds like you're gonna try to mitigate it with lengthening that track.
Yeah.
You've got your water trucks. You gotta get out there, you're saying you're going out there every hour?
Someone drives around both rotaries at least once an hour.
All right, and you haven't seen any improvement in the Furia
I have
since they
seen some
started
improvement
that?
late, yes, I
Okay.
have. But it's very cyclical, so it's hard to say, because I've seen improvement in the past as well, and then it gets worse. When it gets worse, it's very bad. So, but yes, I have seen improvement. I think she mentioned that they got a couple of sweepers in-house.
Right.
There has been an improvement of late, yes.
Any other suggestions, David? This is
It-
right up your alley.
Is that DOT maintained, that second road?
Technically, yes. But we still go out and clean up whatever mess, whether it's Perkins stone or Onyx stone, just out of respect.
Any further suggestions, David, as
Do
far
you-
as how they could mitigate
I don't
it?
have your name. Do you have a business card you could give me?
Absolutely.
With you?
And honestly, in the future, you should call me directly. I don't know
What's
who
the,
has been spoken to at Onyx, but we have
what's the number?
978 501
801
4355,
4355.
and it's Mandy DeFriest.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think that they're trying to mitigate the problems. It's not like they're just sitting back and letting life go by. You know, they obviously they've got quite an investment in real estate and equipment to try to keep everybody happy.
Right. Has to be done, that's all, on a regular basis. Hopefully, whatever time frame you're using, hopefully is going to continue to mitigate it and, keep the problem from flaring up again.
They certainly don't want to be here before us, I can guarantee you that, so.
Right, she looks thrilled.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to do tonight.
Well, I think at this point, if you continue on the path that you are suggesting and getting that paved, and keeping the dust down there, then we could forego any sanctions. But I think that you need to be aware that if we need to put sanctions on it, it will happen, and it will happen with it, we'll look at it for the next month and see what happens. Get our input from the Board of Health, continue talking to the neighbors, or the neighbors continue to talk to us about, what's a good thing and what's the bad thing. Everything you say sounds great. It just needs to be implemented and consistently. Okay, so,
That's exactly right. So we'll soon enough.
okay, any further discussion on this particular issue? Set? Okay. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Okay, next thing on, we haven't skipped anything, right? Yes. No.
We had the EDC member volunteer.
One thing, no, the EDC hasn't formally sent over the 2 new members they would like us to appoint, so that's not going to happen tonight. That should be on our next meeting agenda, probably, Kama?
Yes.
Okay. And then the Senior Center Building Committee, I would entertain a motion that we disband the Senior Center Building Committee formally.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
Okay, and the discussion is the Senior Center Building Committee, though they have done and moved forward with a few projects, actually has been defunct since 2016. None of us realized that we weren't reappointed. Sad story. So anyway, we got the garage built, that's it. Any other discussion on that?
Just a comment, the seniors, for the people who just recently, moved to Sterling or who weren't aware of that senior center, there was a very spirited discussion over that building many years ago. It opened up, 3-4 years ago, I think.
What, the senior center?
Was it 6? 2014. Okay, so I would say that, thank you for correcting my
3 or 4
memory,
years
but,
ago.
I'd like to forget some of those things, but in the years leading up to it, it was very spirited discussion as to whether one should even be built. And it was by narrowly at town meeting, probably I'm going to guess again, 2012, 13 maybe.
It wasn't narrow, it was 13 votes.
13 votes. And the Senior Center Building Committee was chaired by Ms. Cranston, and they put an enormous amount of time into that. Mike Padul, so many people, I should name them all, I can't think of them all, but they put an enormous amount of time into it, and because of that committee, that building sits there right now. And a ton of credit goes to everybody on the committee, especially Ms. Cranston, for pushing that through and really holding people's feet to the fire regarding the consultants, the project managers, et cetera, because we all followed it, those of us who've been here long enough. And to this day, I haven't heard a complaint, I'm sure there have been probably, but I haven't heard a complaint about the air conditioning, the HVAC, the heating, or anything else. And I remember the last year of that project, a lot of work went into that and holding people. There have been, well, there may be, there always is gonna be, but let's put it this way. It works better than a police station and they have a better roof than a fire station. So, again, I think it was about, let's say 95 to 98% done properly. And again, the savings to the taxpayers, that was a $2.7 million building. And that came in right on budget and on time, actually under budget, to the extent that there's still a little bit of money left over for that building after the garage was built and after the senior center building was built.
Okay,
So,
okay, you're done.
just want to
Just
say,
saying.
educate
First
the
of
folks a
all,
little on that.
know that we didn't necessarily share all of the issues that came up at the senior center with air and septic and all those things. But they all got, well, yeah, but they're all fixed
They're
at the
all done.
moment, yes. But that's not what we're doing right now. We're just gonna, I would entertain a motion that we disband the building committee at this point. We made the motion, we seconded it.
You asked for the discussion.
I know, but you talk too much. David?
add.
Nothing to add? Okay, so all those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. Okay, so formally, the building committee is dissolved. And that being said, and as John had mentioned, there are some funds left over from the building committee budget. I believe it's like $38,000. And despite the fact that the building committee has been disbanded, we do have recommendations for that, those monies. We do have, those recommendations are in your book from the building committee. However, as Veronica had mentioned, she's still there, right? And Veronica had mentioned, the senior center and the COA has other ideas for those monies. And there's some disconnect there as to who, what, and how. What I would like the COA, or Liz, she chairs up this landscaping committee, to do is to send my counterparts, I have seen it, I haven't shared it with them, what your thoughts are and how your group would like to proceed with it. We have Mr. Mackey's thoughts, which underscore the same thoughts that the rest of the now defunct committee had in mind. We're not in favor of spending $38,000 on landscaping. We think it's risky, but I would rather have the discussion when we have both proposals in front of us. Mr. Mackey's and the Senior Center Building Committee and the COA and their landscaping committee. If we can do that for our next meeting, and then, yes?
May I just quickly
Yeah.
address that, please?
I don't want you to give the whole
No.
landscape
No,
thing right now. I want them to be able to read it.
To read it.
Yes.
But it's really not an either or. I would simply propose that whatever the select board determines for the reallocation of those funds, that the Council on Aging and the Landscape Committee and the Senior Center Director be involved in any decision-making going forward after that. So it's not like we have a plan. Yes, there is a landscape plan.
Could I just interrupt one second? Could you just state your name, please?
I'm
for-
sorry.
Oh, jeez. We all thought we knew Liz.
Liz Pape, 20 Elliott Road, Sterling, member of the Council on Aging and member of the Landscape Committee for the Senior Center. And so it's not, we have a landscape plan, but I don't have a sort of counter proposal to what the building committee is going to propose. I'm simply asking that it be a collaborative process so that whatever the select board decides to do with the remaining funding, that there is involvement by the landscape committee, the Council on Aging, and the Senior Center Director. So I can write that up for you, no problem. Kind of looks like
No,
this.
I think what they haven't even seen the plan list.
So do
They
you want
haven't seen the whole 5 steps.
Do you want to see a summary of the landscape plan? No problem.
Yeah, I already
Yeah.
have it.
Yes,
I understand
yes,
that. you
yes.
know.
And I can definitely summarize that and get it to you.
And give it to these two.
Yes, I do.
And then putting all those people together, you're talking about how many people?
Well, the landscape committee is me, the chair of COA, Gail, and Patrice.
Okay, so that's 3. And then you want the whole COA?
No, we're acting on behalf of the
Okay.
COA.
All right, because that's a lot of people, and we've had
No.
this discussion.
No, it's only 3, yes.
Yeah,
and
we've had the discussion.
And we work fast. I do have one other request, though, of the select board and the town leadership. And with the disbanding of the building committee, when I was trying to find out what was going on with the landscaping during the initial building of that area, I looked in the meeting minutes of the building committee and educated myself onto what was going on, how things had happened, who were the people involved in all of that. But the building committee has been posting agendas since 2017, but there are no meeting minutes to go with any of those agendas since 2017.
All right, well, now we're off topic.
Well, if
We
it's
will
being
admit, the building
disbanded-
committee will admit that we were somewhat derelict about posting minutes. However, since 2016, we have actually only done the garage, and we did that with the town administrator, the town accountant.
Right.
And we moved forward with that.
So
If you'd
I'm just
like us to
simply asking.
dismantle that, we
No,
will.
I'm just simply asking that the town leadership look at how minute meetings are posted and just make sure that things are being done in a timely fashion, because yes, when you were building the garage, you didn't realize that you were an inactive committee,
Right.
so agendas were being posted. And I'm simply asking that you just review the process of
We will
posting
go through
meetings.
every committee and
Thanks for
board
your
in
time.
town and make sure that they do their minutes. And I just want to say too, that even you guys are all volunteers.
Yes,
You
we
know,
are.
Every single board and committee in this town are volunteers, and sometimes, yes, things fall through the cracks. I can list, and then we've had this discussion, several different, and no, I'm not being a child about it, but I can list several different committees that have not posted and don't post, and even some elected boards. So all I can say is I think and I believe that people try their best, and sometimes their best is not what we anticipate, so.
So I'm just saying, I'm simply saying,
All right, but that's
review the
way off the
process.
subject, okay. So, and with that being said, also, when I talk about being derelict, I've not been able to actually work with the COA as we moved over this last year and a half, almost 2 years. Very sporadic about my ability to go to their meetings. Their meetings are on Thursday night. And as their rep from the select board, I feel guilty about that. However, the guilt is overshadowed by the fact that I'm actually working on Thursday nights. There's 2 nights a week that I really try to keep open, and one is Tuesday and one is Thursday. And up until a week ago, I was working every Thursday night, so I can't make the meetings, can't promise I can make the meetings. So I would ask one of my counterparts if they would take over that particular position for me, moving forward. I can raise your hand for you, John, if you want.
That's what they do with Moses in the Battle of Jericho. No, I'll be happy to.
Well, you're retired, you don't do anything, so that would be good.
I don't, on Thursdays, there are some, once in a while there's a conflict, but if that's acceptable, I'll be happy to do it. Dave could maybe film it if I can't do it once in a while, that'd be.
Nothing would make me happier.
They don't necessarily have food, Dave.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Not always. Sometimes they have really nice brownies, but not always. But is that something we have to vote on, or just, okay, that's just from this day forward, we're going to recognize that John will be the rep to the COA, and I will step aside on that. And no, I'm not going to take anything from you.
Just a quick procedural question. Do I then send agendas and packet materials to him? Because I'm the clerk.
I haven't got an agenda or packet in months, speaking of that. In months.
I would appreciate the agenda as well, just to stay in the loop.
Just to the select board?
The only way I get the agenda is I go to the calendar, I look at it, and then I look at what's going on with it. That's the only reason that. But I haven't received that in my packet. Can't even remember when the last time was. So, anyway, yeah, you can send them to John.
Yeah, an email would be great, sufficient.
What, you don't even look at your emails?
I'm gonna
All
start
right.
doing that too.
All right, so, moving on. Oh, any other comments, input? Nothing? Okay. Brian, are you here for a particular reason?
Yeah, I'm just here to see how you present things and how sarcastic you are.
You already know
No,
that.
I live across from.
You're on Choxet,
Yeah,
right?
Patriots Way.
Okay, and you had nothing to throw into that?
Well,
Ditto.
we basically ditto there, and actually, it has been intermittent. I know they're gone, so I won't dig into any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, same ideas. It has not been kept up regularly. It's been very intermittent, and it is pretty dangerous. I ride a motorcycle as well, as you know.
Yes. Well, and I have to say, I appreciate the fact that you did not bring these problems to me at my job,
Yeah, absolutely.
despite the fact I see you there. Okay, moving on then. This is approval of ARPA funding for downtown renovation. Do you want to talk about that, Bill, please?
So, last meeting I gave a clearer update of the downtown status for you folks and everybody that's listening. What we currently have for funding approved was the 119 for Weston and Sampson to do the parking, lining, road alignment, all of those things, which they have begun. We have the $70,000 or so for the Verizon to get the underground utilities buried and cut over. We do not have the funding for the Comcast piece, which is what's in front of you tonight, the $153,000 for them to do everything. Obviously, we'll be doing the, SMLD will be doing the burying of the stuff, but the cutting over of services, what they have to do. And just a few minutes ago, I got an email that we were awarded the grant through the state to do the underground infrastructure design and engineering, which will allow us to continue to move forward with the project. So this will just be another piece, once Weston and Sampson is done, that we can get rolling.
Sounds good. So you want to use 153 plus for the Comcast piece?
This would be the Comcast portion, otherwise we'd have to wait till town meeting, and if things get done over the winter, perhaps we can get it rolling before, earlier in the spring.
I like the plan. I don't know.
too.
John, any questions?
How much was the grant for anyway, Bill?
133, 135, something like
Very
that.
nice. Nice job on that. I think to keep this thing moving, I think that makes sense to use the ARPA fund, a small part of it for the Comcast underground.
And this is an updated quote that they got us in the last month or so. Otherwise, it was a few years old.
Yeah. Any questions, David?
Nope, let's move forward, get this project rolling.
Okay, well, I'd entertain a motion that we assign the $153,068 dollars to the ARPA funds for the Comcast piece of the downtown project.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? No? There being none,
Bill Coyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
Krantz and I. And then everybody's favorite subject, our oil contract. Want to fill us in on that?
Yes, so we put it out to get quotes. We don't go over the $50,000 amount typically. We were in the 20,000s last year. Obviously, some of our buildings are on, electric. So we have 4 buildings that are on oil still. 1835 is the biggest user. Fire station, police station, and DPW. We sent it to 5, I think 5, maybe 6 companies for a quote. For a fixed price for the year, and the winner would be Fraticelli Oil for just under $2 more than what we paid last year. Yay.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's only $2 more.
Yeah, so it is $449 and change, $449.9. So they were the winning bid quote.
Yeah, and that was not to exceed 50,000, I think.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Good.
John, do you have any questions? Answers?
That was it. It's higher, and it's not unexpected, what's going on with utilities and everything else, so you're gonna see that across all the budgets this year. But that's a pretty good rate.
Not bad. David?
The only question I would have though is, are these all automatic deliveries? I see there's a fee for a non-business hour delivery. I'm assuming that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if for some reason it's not automatic, we call them and they come down. We used them last fiscal year, they wanted as well, so they are familiar with us and we are familiar with them.
Mr. King, what are your thoughts on $4.49 a gallon?
Better than mine.
All you need to do is do 20,000 gallons. You get the deal. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the contract with Fraticelli Oil for this fiscal year for $4.49 a gallon. Thanks.
Motion to approve the Fraticelli oil contract for the coming year.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Kilcoyne, aye.
Smith, aye.
So, thank you. So guys, what'd you learn? Nothing?
What a lot.
That was a lot, huh?
About the senior center.
Yeah, she talks a lot. She's a good saleswoman.
Thank you.
Just, except I don't always buy from her, which makes her mad. But anyway, you can watch this because I'm sure if you need to get more notes, you can watch it on our local 99 channel, okay? If you're really bored and want to see it again. But,
And on the internet.
yeah.
You can watch it on the internet.
Or yes, you can live stream it too. You go to the town website, go to the select board meeting, and you can live stream it. But this is an important part of our meeting now. Our town administrator is going to give his report, see what he does for a living.
Yeah.
That'd be you, Bill.
Oh, nice. So paving operations have begun, the milling and the paving for Osgood, Kendall Hill and Clinton Road eventually. We had to make the announcement that there is a vacancy on the library board. So if anybody interested can fill out the volunteer application, and that would be on our agenda in the first meeting in December. Submit it to Kama or me, and that term would be until the election in May. The meeting schedule for November, that second meeting would be the 23rd, the night before Thanksgiving, so I don't know if you want to change meetings or just cancel it, or just putting that on your radar, or if we want to make a decision tonight.
Well, the first one would be November what?
9th.
All right, so unless there's something urgent that comes up for that next one, I'm all set with
I'm okay with that.
just having the one. David, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
What did I say, David?
701. 701. I don't know what you said. Just send me an invitation, I'll be
You
there.
can watch this live stream on the computer. All right,
Vicki and I are working on the bond item for what was approved at town meeting last year and this year, combining those two for water and the town items that were purchased. So that will be going out, and I think will be on our December meeting. Yeah, one of the meetings in December, and obviously early voting is going on this week and next week, and the election is 11/8 at the school. I've already mentioned that we got the okay to announce the grant award for the downtown work. They are still doing construction on the playground, so we'll get the fencing people after that. What else do we have? Received a couple more quotes for Peg's Pond, so we are getting closer. Sterling Greenery has removed the bricks there. Hopefully we can either get it lined up for perhaps the end of this construction season or the beginning of next construction season. The bids are due for this roof on this building on 11/2. I don't think there's any update on the beach Mr. Mackey? No? Still with conservation, getting some of the furniture and things ordered, the last bits for the 1835 upstairs, and I think that is about it.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Caldwell?
No, good job. A lot of stuff going on.
One.
Just gonna keep it moving forward.
Just a couple of things too. I think we need to give a shout out to the Village Green and their spooky walk the other night. They had over 700 kids walk through town, and anybody that was there, I know the senior center was there, the gardening club, any of those people, thank you so much for supporting them. Just about everybody ran out of candy, you know, so, but they had plenty of things for the kids to do. DPW was out there with their backhoe and their carved pumpkins and their candies, and so many departments, the rec department, senior center, participated, which is great. And then the local vendors that really, you know, supported the whole endeavor. It's really a kind of a cool thing to see downtown. I know traffic was tied up, et cetera, and so on, but what a cool thing to see that many people in the community come together for a fun time. I didn't see you there, did I?
Yeah.
Were you the dummy with the fire station?
What do you mean were, the dummy?
But yeah, because the fire station was involved, everybody, so it was pretty good. Also, the Friends of the Sterling Seniors, I know you're sick of hearing about seniors, but there is a group, and it's the fundraising arm of the Sterling Senior Center, because the senior center itself cannot raise funds. So, but that group, which was put together again, 10 years ago, the Friends Group are looking for some new volunteers for our board or new members, you know, somebody with some fresh ideas and some imagination. The present board has been there since the beginning, and it would be nice to have some fresh blood, and I mean fresh. So, anybody that might be interested, they can either send us a message or see Pam. She's at the senior center. Not that she's old enough to be there, but she's at the senior center a lot. All right. And that's it. Voting, very important. November 8th, coming up sooner rather than later. Early voting is going on as we speak. So.
Early vote off.
No, John, that's not the way it works. No. Okay.
Vote, make sure you vote.
You have anything,
Crucial.
John?
And no, the Neighbor to Neighbor Fund is around the year accepts financial need applications for utility costs. People have had a tough time, something's happened, they've lost a job, and it's on the website. You can go there to get the information as to what you have to do to fill out an application. And it's voted on by a small 3-member board, and there's a pretty fair amount of money there. We anticipate quite a bit of usage this winter, unfortunately, because of oil bills and everything else, but that's there. And I met with some folks at Wachusett Regional School, Audit Advisory Committee meeting last night, and 2 nights ago, excuse me, and it's going to be a challenging budget season, unfortunately, but I think we anticipated the aftermath of the pandemic, that costs were going to go up, and for many, many reasons. But it's a challenge, but everybody will take it on and we'll make it happen. But not a good starting point, I don't think, for the budget process. It's beginning probably right now, right?
Right now.
Yeah, so.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah, so I'll be there. So anyway. That's all I have to say.
David?
Of course, you don't think I'm gonna let a meeting go by with not adding something.
I want you to add.
Striping, Bill. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to mention it tonight or tomorrow, next meeting, so.
I'm okay with next week.
I had emailed out a striping plan that we had some grant funds for quite a while, and
We'll put it on next week.
yeah, we can talk about it next meeting.
Boy Scouts, I'd like to know what your names are and what your aspirations are from here on out.
I'm Colin Sweet, and aspirations as in like what I want to do in Boy Scouts or just whatever?
Today, tomorrow, 10 years from now?
He wants to go home now.
Too late, I gotta talk it.
My aspirations are to start my own business. Yeah.
My name is Jack Ritter, and my aspiration is to be a welder.
Good luck. Need those.
Yeah, we gotta talk to him.
Tonight.
Well, two clients, my understanding that you've volunteered to do some work with the senior center at the same time too, so, thank you.
Okay, just one more thing. Friday is National First Responder Day, so take a minute and thank your police, fire, DPW workers.
Yep, good point.
So,
Anything from you, Mr. King?
Since everybody's advertising tonight, I figured I'd advertise too. I saw your advertising. You still have 2 openings on the Capital Budget Committee. We welcome new membership on that. And we have 1 opening remaining on the FinCom. At this point in time, we welcome membership on that.
You know what, right in the back of the room, you have a brand new face. His name is Brian. And right to your other side is Mr. DeFuria. You know, it's a short stint, right? It's only from now until May. And it's, you know, just a couple of, we gotta lie a little bit, Joe, about how much time it takes, but anyway. That's what we're
I'm
looking
not
for.
going to give it away, Maureen, because I
Okay.
don't want any discouragement there.
Comment, anything from you? Okay. All right, well, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
seconded.
All those in favor?
We're going on it.
Smith, aye.
Yeah. Thank you guys for
Thank you,
coming in.
thank you. Thank you,
Appreciate
boys.
it.